I'm Hannah.
And I'm Natalie. Welcome to the Stride Sisters podcast. On today's episode, we hop into our rocket ship and head to Area 51 to talk about the half marathon that Hannah ran this past weekend, where the costumes were plentiful, the weather had a mind of its own, and survival became the name of the game. From 90-degree heat to a monsoon that turned the course into a slip and slide, Hannah's race was anything but ordinary. We'll talk about the highs, the lows, the new friends made on the course, and of course, the post-race recovery, fueled by McDonald's fries and Coke. So buckle up, or should we say beam up, because this week's episode is going to be a wild ride. So, lace up your shoes and step into the magic with us. Just something. As my brain was just buffering, like I think I had an icon over my face that was like buffering. Very, very toasty up here in the greater Midwest area, and by very toasty I mean heat advisory wise toasty.
Mm-hmm.
And great for when I was at the pool. Not so great when I was trying to plan my long run.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, do anything in the outside area all weekend. But that wasn't by a pool. Because when I was at the pool, it was freaking great. But I suffered during my long run this week. I'll just get into it. And it was 16. I made a somewhat impromptu, training went pretty well overall this week. And it was a decision made like midway through the day on Thursday that I should try to get my long run in before the heat advisory hit Friday afternoon. Was I hydrated, fueled, whatever for that after doing a speed workout Thursday morning? No. I mean, like, obviously I did what I could, but in terms of like recovered even for that. So the first 10 miles went really well. And then the wheels fell off after that. And we were fighting for a life out there. I learned how much water is too much water, and didn't have a good time. But I even called it at 15, and then I did go back out and get that last mile in about an hour and a half after I'd finished the first half. So I know Galloway says that all counts in the same effort. Also, had I done 15 versus 16, I would have survived just fine. Mm-hmm. But for me, because it was a very unsatisfying end to the run, I was like, I need to get it in. So I'm hoping 18 goes better. But it just such is the life of summer running. I got kind of spoiled the last couple super long runs I did because I had really nice weather. So it was just bound to come around and yoink, get me at some point. So we'll keep on trucking. Keep on trucking. The speed workout went well this week, though. So we have that going for us.
Whoop, whoop.
So how about you? Did you do anything?
Oh, just, a little something. Nothing, no big deal. It's not like I ran a half marathon or anything. Oh, wait. What? I probably unadvisedly ran a half marathon. I felt fairly confident that I could complete it in the time range, even if I decided to walk the whole thing, because we had a 4-hour cutoff and I can speed walk near the cutoff speed. So I just needed to have a few little jogging jaunts to make sure I made it. even though I was thoroughly tweaking out that I wasn't going to finish in the group chat before we went. So the scaries were definitely hitting. I told Ben before we went that he just kept asking me like if I was excited, and honestly, I wasn't leading up to it. I was mostly nervous because I wasn't sure it was a good idea based on my recent training load. Which is why I also gave myself permission to like walk it and just enjoy and not push anything. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We don't need to get hurt. But I told him that it reminded me of how I felt before my first 10 miler back, I don't know how many years ago for Springtime Surprise, because my training for that race also fell apart because that was when we got Pepper and we didn't know how to balance being puppy caregivers, adults, having jobs, all the things plus training. And so we went out and we did that. And I finished it. I did get injured in my 10 miler, which is why I was so nervous that I could theoretically end up injured in this half. I did not, spoiler alert. Thank goodness. But I am definitely paying for the undertraining and the level of sore that I am, which is pretty not great. It's 2-ish days post run now, and which is usually the worst day for me. So fingers crossed tomorrow is on the ups, because my calves and like the outsides of my quads, kind of like not the very front, but like sort of like the outside part of my quad is so tight. Every time I go up and down the stairs, it's not like I can't go up and down the stairs, but I feel like I need to like rotate my feet inward or something, like stand in a weird position to like offset how tight my calves are. It's not pretty. Um and so this is my wake up call that like I need to get back into my routine. I need to just I had so much fun at the race, so I just need to like bring that to the everyday training, because I wasn't sore at all after Dopey. So that proves that if I do train properly, I can have a much better post race experience than I'm currently having.
Science experiment.
Yeah, so if you ever needed like that confirmation, you really don't need to experience it for yourself. Luckily, I mean, we're going to get into the whole thing. Um, I did not get any blisters. Thank goodness. Lots of chafe. So tangential injury report is that I got a lot of chafe. You'll have heard it in the intro, I'm sure, by now, but it rained pretty intensely during the half marathon, to the point where I thought they were going to cancel the race. Like, I thought they were going to pull us all off the course, but they didn't. And I don't think there's any amount of chafing product that could have saved me in this case. I do think it's a miracle that my toes did not blister, because I was convinced they were going, like, that they felt like it afterwards. I did bruise both big toenails though.
Oof.
So, didn't even grow the last ones out completely before they're bruised again. So I'm never going to have normal toenails again.
Such is the life.
I have accepted it. But luckily, none of our listeners have had any injuries to report either, so no new additions to the blister brigade this week. We're proud of you guys. For races, we are getting super duper close to the Disneyland Halloween Half Marathon weekend with only 16 days left. Training this week is 30 minutes on Tuesday and Thursday for all races but the challenge, and 30 to 45 minutes if you are running the challenge. 5K, you have 3.5 miles for your long run. 10K, you have 6.5 miles. Beginner half and experienced half both have 14 miles, and the challenge, you have back-to-backs with a 5-mile walk on Saturday and a 14-mile walk on Sunday. We have 65 days left until Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend 2025. Training is, again, 30 minutes if you're not running the challenge and 30 to 45 minutes if you are. 5K, you have a 30-minute run for the weekend. 10K, you also have a 30-minute run. And beginner half, experienced half, and challenge all have 3 miles.
Spooky. ADRs are coming. um, being 65 days out, depending on what your arrival day is, we are within the week of having to book your ADRs for Wine and Dine Half Marathon Weekend. So pay attention to that coming up. You can book if you're staying on property 60 days out for the entirety of your stay. If you are not staying on property, it is 60 days per day. So, if you on 60 days from Thursday on an expo day, 60 days from Friday, you would have to do it every day. If you're split staying, that will be 60 days from each check-in day. So, ADRs are coming. Woo-hoo!
We have 141 days until Marathon Weekend 2026. 30 minutes for marathon, 30 to 45 minutes for goofy, and 45 minutes for dopey. All race distances have the same long run this weekend with 9 miles. We have 163 days until Disneyland Half Marathon Weekend 2026. We have 191 days until Princess Half Marathon Weekend 2026. Your proof of time deadline is September 1st, 2025. And believe it or not, that is like 2 weeks away. So get ready. Get that in. Don't forget.
Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. We have 240 days until Springtime Surprise Weekend 2026. Your shirt deadline is coming up on September 22nd, 2025, so about a month. And your proof of time deadline is January 5th, 2026, so still plenty of time to get a race in. Natalie, what's the Disney news this week?
Well, what's the word? Last week we got the Disneyland Halloween Half Marathon merch reveal.
It was
Lots
cute.
of
I'm jelly.
Yes. Lots of cute things. I think I will have to be yoinking those ears when I'm out there. Hopefully things are still there by Friday. But I feel like we're getting less feral, kind of. Kind of. Um
Maybe.
not marathon weekend, but so there was a lot of really cute stuff, and they show very little of it in the merchandise preview these days, which is kind of exciting because I feel like, well, it's like a false sense of security for my wallet because I get like whelmed by what they put out. And this stuff I thought was really cute. And then what they have there is like bombshell, a hot new bombshell that enters the villa. And I'm like, wow, look at all these things I didn't realize they were going to have. And then I buy. So I'm excited. It kind of really got the juices flowing for that. I still need to book a flight home, but I'll get there. Well, really, it's about getting back more than it is getting there. I did book the flight there. Um, also on Run Disney News, the 12 Ks of Christmas medals were revealed yesterday, and they're shoe ornaments. They are so stinking cute. I cannot. I love them because I believe they've been like the ear hats in the past for
They
the
have,
ornaments.
yes.
But I love that they're the shoe ornaments and they kind of will fit in with a lot of the other shoe ornaments that you can get at your in-person races throughout the year. I think they're super cute, and I'm still going to have a dilemma because tomorrow is today is our registration day for the 12 Ks of Christmas. Wow.
Wow. I'm not conflicted, but I know you are. So good luck.
It's one of those things where I've got enough going on today. Like, it's one of those things that if it's still open and I come back to it, I'll do that. But like, I'm not going to probably get in the queue like right away to do it. And then if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. But they're so cute. And like my tree is kind of needing some extra ornaments. But good luck with registration, everybody. I was about to say something, but then could have just come off really cursed. If it was like no, I'm just gonna keep that. That's gonna be an inside thought about like how good or bad registration could go. So just good luck. Good luck. Speaking of things going either good or bad, Beacon Barrel reservations went live or attempted to go live last week, and it was a debacle.
It was like Princess all over again,
Yeah, only
except less
worse.
successful. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say only worse. Nobody really was able to make reservations for it. So what they have done is they rescheduled it to August 20th, which is tomorrow, and they will go live in the evening. So good luck with that. I heard some of the word on the street was that there was like a lot of bots or something that were really trying to get like an infiltration of bots that the system couldn't handle, which is like intriguing. We just really needed that octopus tentacle so bad. And then last kind of piece of news that I have, the Little Mermaid show is getting a lightning lane option at Hollywood Studios starting on September 11th. It'll be a tier 2 lightning lane.
Are we not going to talk about our legend that passed this weekend?
Go for it.
With spooky season upon us, I just thought, we should give him his, I don't know. Terrence Stamp was, he passed away this past weekend. He plays the butler in what is to me the OG Haunted Mansion. And I'm sure a variety of other things. I feel like he's always a bad guy in movies. But very sad to see him leave this plane. Maybe he's with all the other ghosts and the ghost host now.
Room for one more.
Yeah. Was that bad?
No, I just don't really know how to go into a fun fact out of that, but I'm just going to freeball it. On this day in Disney history, on August 19th, 2005, the Disney animated feature Valiant premieres in theaters. Valiant is a woodland pigeon voiced by Ewan McGregor who wants to become a hero. I have not thought about the movie Valiant in a really long time.
I don't know if I've ever seen Valiant.
The idea that Obi-Wan is a pigeon, and this is in the same year, like just a couple months after Revenge of the Sith came out too, brought me such joy. I could not pick this fun fact.
Well, now we're going to have to add something to the list. I'm going to have to Google it and see, because I genuinely don't recall ever seeing. Oh, okay. I recognize the artwork very strongly. I don't know if I remember anything really about the plot, but I do remember this artwork.
Yeah, the artwork brought it right back. It's
Oh, well, I think it's due for a rewatch then.
Wait, this is a really stacked voice cast. This is crazy. We have Tim Curry as a cruel German falcon, Ricky Gervais, Ewan McGregor, obviously, John Cleese. Oh man. Now this is going to be having another thing that I tell Mr. Natalie. I'm like, oh, John Cleese, he was the dad in Shrek, and he was also a pigeon and prisoner of war in Valiant. No, not a python. No, not one of the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. A pigeon. That's gonna make him so mad.
How do you think Ewan McGregor feels about that?
Well, I do put the respect on his name of obviously, but yeah, no, that's fair. I should. He's Christopher Robin. He's Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan never told you. This is awesome. I'm gonna have to rewatch. I actually this will be the next. This will have to be added to my Mr. Natalie's like watch list. We were working our way through Planes because that was suggested to him because he is a history buff and
Mm.
we
We're
just really
talking planes
wanted,
like cars, right?
yes, from like the Cars
Animated?
universe, but
Yeah,
Plane,
okay.
yes. Um, it's something we used to do in DC was actually go out to Gravelly Point and like watch planes too. So, um, near DCA, but no, like the planes of the Cars universe because we wanted like kind of just the lens of like the historical perspective, like through a plane, right?
Mhm.
Like there is a Pope mobile in Cars 2. So we have, oh my God, wait, what would a Chicago Pope car be? I'm gonna come back to that. Um,
Green
duh
for the
car,
river on St. Patrick's Day.
duh car. But like, like just like the different implications of like of there being a Pope mobile, just with different historical things. So we're working our way through planes, and I think we'll need to watch Valiant, because this looks like D-Day with birds. So, which is
I think that's
fascinating.
probably a pretty accurate description.
Yeah, no, we're gonna have to watch this. Oh wow, yeah, scrolling through some stuff, it's bringing it all back of this absolute delight of a film. I'm sure. Ooh, if I really wanted to make it fun, we can watch it in German and see who understands more of the two of us. But we do both speak German. Just again, lore drop fun fact. But yeah, that is our fun fact for the week. If you didn't know Disney made a movie about like D-Day but pigeons, now you know.
There is some seriously like out there stuff that Disney made in the early like aughts.
That is true. Actually, even within the history, like what some of what they did during World War II, like some of the cartoons from back then, like it's deeply ingrained in the history. Some of the out there things,
Mhm.
um, but very interesting.
You know what else is out there?
Aliens in
Aliens.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, we thought of the transition at the same time. That's so good. So tell us about your trip to Area 51, and how you got in your rocket ship and went places.
Yeah, so if you don't know, I live in the Atlanta metropolitan area, and nearby is Roswell, Georgia. They host a half marathon every year that is alien themed called Area 13.1 after Roswell, New Mexico, the home of Area 51. I actually don't know if Area 51 is in Roswell or if there's just a lot of aliens there, but like I'm pretty sure that's where all the connection comes from.
Pause for a second. Do you remember when the ongoing meme was like there was a big Facebook event of like
Yes.
storming Area 51, and it was like when somebody takes PTO on this day, and you wonder if they want to go to Area 51.
Mhm.
That was back in like the 2018, 2019 good days. That was where we all united over a Facebook group about Area 51. Continue.
Well, it was quite the race. We they do have early pickup. They host it all over the over town to pick up your bibs and stuff. But and we went the day before to a brewery. It was not ideal. There was no parking. The pickup was in like historic Roswell where it's there. Yeah, there's no parking lots, no parking decks, no parking anything. Even the restaurants all have valet, and I think they drive your car like very far away to park it and then bring it back. Um, so Ben had to just circle. I got out and picked up our bibs, and he just circled around the street, hoping to like meet me back with the bibs, which is what happened. And it was a night race for the alien theme. So we I was very like unprepared, I guess, in that sense. I've never had a night race. It's weird to not set all your stuff out the night before because you have to wake up early and have it all ready. I had a bunch of things to get done throughout the day, but I also wasn't sure like how to fuel myself knowing like throughout the day I didn't want to eat too much and feel gross, didn't want to not eat enough. Such an odd predicament that I was in. But we ended up going over there. They put a lot of like disclaimers in every single email they sent about how terrible the parking was. And after our parking experience for the bibs, I was like, I believe them. We will get there early. And I think Ben wanted to get there earlier than I did, because they were saying that like early parking, there's these lots right by the park, and you could start parking there whenever. That the roads would be congested by 5:45. The race started at 7. So I was like, okay, well, if they're going to be congested by 5:45, let's try and get there like 5:30, get there before that. We ended up getting there at 5:15. I think Ben wanted to get there at like 4 something. He was on Disney time. He was like, "No, like if we have to get to a 5 a.m. race, if we have to get there by 3, we definitely need to get like up and get all the stuff there, and it's like an hour almost drive for us to get to Roswell." So he was, like, raring to go, and I was like, "I still have to do my hair. I still have to put glitter on my face. I still have to do these things." So, it was very casual, but I also think I was procrastinating because I was so nervous. We did end up getting there at 5:15 and got, like, the most amazing parking spot. The main
Oh,
lot attached to the park was already full when we arrived. So, we were in this gravel lot next to a church. They had specifically said not to park in the church parking lot until 5:30. So we were being good and not parking in the church parking lot, but there was a gravel lot between the church and the park. And we got like what was probably one of the last what I would call real spots, because then we were in the grass, so it wasn't even a real spot, but then people started like parking in the grass in a way that they were boxing people in so that
ooh.
people weren't going to be able to leave. And we were pretty sure we were going to get boxed in, but since the we were further back in the groups of where we planned to start, we were like, it'll be fine. Most of the people will probably be gone by the time we're done. We didn't need gear check or anything because we were like probably only a few hundred yards away from the start line. Like it was mwah, chef's kiss, best parking ever. It also meant that like we went and walked. We left all of our stuff in the car. We were like mostly ready, but didn't have like I didn't have to wear my vest around. I just left it in the car until like literally 10 minutes before we went to go line up. Went grabbed it and then went to the start line. And they had like a little mini expo situation going on. People were in it to win it. So there's also a 5K and a 10K going on, as well as a tot trot for this race. And it's at a local park in Roswell. There's like a little, sidewalk thing that goes around a big like field. And they have a big stage. I think they do live music there in the summer. They had a alternative rock band that did like angsty like pop punk alternative
Ooh.
music covers that was going to be playing, because basically they do the races and then it's like a concert party in the park until like 11 p.m. So if you get done quickly or if you're in a shorter race, then you can just like hang out. They have beer. There's a tavern that comes and makes food. They had all kinds of tents. Trader Joe's was there giving away free snacks. What more can you ask for, really? I got some, what are they called? I don't know, but they were like goldfish, but they were rocket shaped, which was like on brand for the fact that it was an alien themed race. And we also got some passion fruit juice or something, not
Mhm.
pog juice, but it was very delicious. There was so much going on. The MC for the race was fully decked out. He was full green face paint. He was wearing all green. He had rainbow socks on. He had his hair all tied up in like a really tall, like what would be a top knot, except it's a ponytail. And I don't know if he had a wire going through that thing because it was sticking straight up, kind of like a singular antenna situation.
Oh.
It was great. He was a hoot. There's people in inflatable aliens. There were people in skirts and with lights, the whole shebang. I was wearing a blue and silver Epcot-esque pattern skirt, as well as I just wore a regular like running shirt because I needed to have something with sleeves to wear my vest because my vest rubs my arm if I don't wear sleeves. So I did that. I wore the alien ears that we wore for,
Wine and dine?
yeah, Wine and Dine, which I will be not re-wearing for marathon for the Rise and Run 5K because I'm not doing that, but I will bring them in solidarity. um and then I had some glitter from Miles of Shimmer all over my face. I had intentions of wearing my own tattoos and the time got away from me and I failed at my very first like true marketing opportunity. But that's okay. By the time we got started, I mean, we had to see the kids do their tot trot. It was adorable. But by the time we got started, we like walked over to the start line. The race started late, which wasn't a surprise. I mean, the pacers seemed a little bit like annoyed about it, but I don't think anyone else was because it was very chill. So all the half marathon people started at 7 and then they did 10 minutes increments for the 10K and then the 5K. So I was off by the time they started everyone else. But we plopped ourselves sort of like halfway between the 2:45 pacer and the 3-hour pacer. And in my watch, I had programmed in the pacer for what would be like 3 hours and 4 minutes, which was, I think, the equivalent of like a 14-minute mile or something. I don't know. But I put something in there that felt like not scary to me because that made me feel good, like to see that on my watch. And then I just was like, okay, well, Ben's much faster than I. So I'll just stick with Ben, hence why we were closer to the 2:45 pacer. And we were off. It was brutally hot. I don't know why we thought that was a good idea. But it was about 90 degrees. And even though it was 70, or not 70, even though it was 7 p.m., it was not cooling off. The sun would not go down or wasn't supposed to go down until like I think 8:30, 8:45ish. And the heat just kept compounding. It was incredibly humid, like high humid. I don't want to know what the real feel was. I'm going to guess it was something like 96. I had been chugging electrolytes, pre-workout, uh, kind of like carb drink stuff before, just trying to stay hydrated. I was really worried I was going to go overboard, but I was also really scared of the temperature.
Yeah, I would be too.
So we kept crossing our fingers that it would drop, and it did, but not exactly in the way that we wanted it to. We ran for 4 miles before we got basically just after mile 3, we went off trail or like off the road and we were on a like gravel path running through the woods, really adding to the ambiance of trying to not be abducted by aliens. And I was on fire. My face felt sunburnt. I was so hot, like I couldn't, when you're just so hot that you can't get rid of the heat because it was so humid, like there was just nowhere for it to go and the sweat wasn't doing anything and it was just really uncomfortable. My heart rate was so high. I think I was sitting in the 180s, 190s. And I turned to Ben and I said, I don't think I'm going to be able to hang on at this pace. Like, I'm going to keep going for as long as I can, but I think we're going to have to slow down. I don't think I can do this. And not a half mile later, it started absolute downpour, monsoon, like the water was coming down so hard and getting into my eyes that I couldn't blink fast enough to actually get rid of the water. My eyes felt dry and I couldn't see anything.
Oh.
Like, it was truly pouring, and it was, like, not coming down straight. It was coming down sideways. It was like a puddle, like, my shoes were not just wet. There was a puddle inside each shoe, and we were basically running through a river, it felt like. We could see the water just, like, rushing down the hillside. We went under, like, an overpass, and I thought, like, there was people who had stopped and were just, like, hanging out by their cars, and I think for, like, the 5K or the 10K, those people were either close to done or had finished, so they were, like, heading back to their cars, and we're all just, like, half marathoners running in the rain, and at this
Oof.
point, it's not only raining, but it is extremely loud thunder and very close lightning.
Oh,
Yeah,
yikes.
and so I'm
That's
like,
scary.
"Okay, we have another 2 something miles," and our car is parked basically at the start line because it was like a figure eight pattern, so
I was
halfway
about to
mark, we were
ask.
back at the start, which is very smart on their part, theoretically, if they had wanted to cancel the race for safety. I was convinced that when we made it back to the start, they were gonna, like, cut us off and be like, "Sorry, guys, it's not safe, like, everyone has to go home." Nope. Nope. I made a friend, in those few miles. Her name was Jessica. Hi, Jessica. I hope we can be friends, and we were just going, and I was literally telling her, I was like, "They have to stop us. There's lightning. There's no way this is safe. There's no way they're gonna let us
Yeah.
keep going." We make it to the park. I have mentally prepared myself that we're done, and they're going, "Half marathon, continue this way. Keep going." And I'm like, "Excuse me? I just put myself in the mental space that I'm about to be done, and you're telling me I still have to run the remaining 7-ish miles?" And the 2:45 pacer's at my back, and we're all just gonna keep going, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this is happening." So we kept going, and it kept raining until, I wanna say at least mile 8, possibly even mile 9, and it didn't keep raining at that level. Probably by the time we got outside of the park, it slowed down. It was just, like, a normal amount of rain, I guess. There was still thunder and lightning, but it at that point, we were all laughing and joking, and we're like, "Well, at least we're not hot anymore." And I made friends with Jessica. I was joking. Some guy joined our group and was like, what are you guys doing?" I'm like, "Oh, we're running 60-60, so 60 minutes on, or not 60 minutes, geez Louise. 60 seconds on, 60 seconds off walking and running." And I told him, "If you hear a really obnoxious beep, that's me. Don't follow me. I'm not the pacer. Like, I'm just trying to survive. I'm sorry." And the pacer turns around. She's like, "I don't know about that. You've been hanging in pretty well. I'm about to get you signed up to be a pacer." And I was like, biggest compliment of my life, because I'm pretty sure that I should not be here right now at all, let alone surviving at this moment. I also met two Disney runners at this point in the race. One of them had a possum, like, stuffed animal on her shoulder, kinda like how when we wear costumes, people wear the different characters and stuff. There's apparently a possum run in Roswell as well. That's, like, the second half of this course.
Ooh.
And so, I might have to do some investigating into the possum run.
Yes.
But they were super nice. We talked all about, like, registration. They told me they tried to get into Princess this year and didn't get in.
Ugh.
So she said that the last time she had run a Run Disney race was, like, 2016, so she was like, she knew she needed to be there on registration day, like, they knew that part, but I don't think they fully, she was saying they didn't fully understand what they were walking themselves into, and
Yeah.
yeah. So I laid all the knowledge out there for her on, like, my tips and tricks mid-run. It was great. By the time we made it to like mile 10-ish, this was like when we did our last turnaround to come back in the figure eight towards the end. So it felt hopeful. It was very dark at this point. But I was my hip flexors started getting super, super tight. So I wasn't like leaning forward or anything. Like sometimes you see people that are really struggling with their run and they've got this like they're bent from the hips, like leaning really, really far forward. I wasn't
The
doing that, but
deadlift position.
yeah, kinda. But I was starting to get uncomfortable. I was starting to worry because that's what happened to me during Chicago as well, was that my hip flexors tightened up so much. I was in so much pain. Luckily, they were just tight. It never got painful during
Good.
the half. But then basically we just kept going. We were on like a boardwalk by a lake the rest of the way. I couldn't tell you what we saw because it was pitch black. My headlamp never I could never get it to turn on.
Oh,
Luckily Ben was running with me and he had his, so we were okay, and the Pacers had lamps and like they had little like flickery lights to decorate the area and stuff, but there was a very pleasant frog croaking going on in the background. And with basically a lot of luck, we finished. Thank the Lord. Just after 9:45, and I waited at the finish line for Jessica to finish. She was a little bit behind me. I told her I would wait for her, and I told her congrats. We exchanged phone numbers, so I
aw.
might have a new local running friend, I hope. And then we went I was just sopping wet, and Ben and I had no desire to like stick around. You got a free beer if you were over 21, and we were just like, nope, we're out. I want to go back to the car. I had brought a change of clothes because I thought I was just going to be uncomfortably sweaty in the car for like 30 to 45 minutes, but I was instead about to be super cold and wet if I didn't change. So I
Yeah.
changed my bottoms of my top, still had to be in wet underwear and
Oh,
sports bra, unfortunately. I know, rough, but there's only so much you can do when there's no like porta potties or anything. There's nowhere to go to change, and I'm not going to
yeah.
just
No deck
change in a
change.
field when a random person might walk by. um so yeah, and by then it's like after 10 p.m. we had packed we ate our Trader Joe's goldfish rocket thingies and headed straight to McDonald's for life-saving Coke and French fries, which I needed because I was fading so quickly after we finished. I was both tired because it was way past my bedtime and exhausted, and I was starting to get a headache, even though I had tried so hard to stay hydrated. I mean, all things considered, I think I did okay, but I meant to take two pickle shots on the run. I only took one because once it started raining, I completely forgot about fueling. Luckily, I only missed one interval before I
Mhm.
realized through all the commotion, oh shoot, it's been past what I was supposed to, and I had been fueling every 20 minutes at the beginning of the race because it was so hot and I was trying to like get ahead of it. And then it started raining, so I only missed a 30-minute window, and because I think I had sort of like front loaded a bunch, I actually was okay.
Mhm.
And then I just took another fuel when I realized, and then that's when I took my pickle shot, probably, I don't know, a little past halfway, and then I thought about taking it again towards the end. I started getting hot in the last like 5K of the race because it had stopped raining and the humidity was starting to pick up. The temperature not so much, but the humidity, just getting rid of the heat was really hard. And yeah, I'm really sore now, but it was possibly I mean, my compliments to the Pacers because I couldn't have done it without them, and I really wish I had gotten their names. I'm pretty sure the guy's name was Mark, but I don't think I caught our other Pacer's name. She was really nice. Um but it is quite possibly the most even paced race I think I've ever done. Uh and it ended up being a negative split even though I had my slowest mile in the second half. So, like overall, very good.
See, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit for the training that you did do this summer, to be honest. Even though it wasn't at the same, like, I'd say level as when we were like hitting it for dopey
Yeah.
last year. I do think you did a lot more training than you thought you did, to be honest. But it's hard to, when you have that baseline of, oh, I'm training for dopey and I am doing XYZ for several months straight. It
Mhm.
feels like you're like completely off. It feels like you're off the wagon
Yeah.
when you're not.
I mean, I definitely think I held on to a lot more fitness probably than I realized as well, just from the last training block. It's not like all of that like completely disappears overnight. And I think that probably helped. I mean, I was only 7 minutes slower in this half than I was to my PR in February. So I think that says a lot for the work that I did last training season. And I still have so much time to go through this season to like really kick into gear. Maybe this is the year of POT. Natalie, you guys can't see this, but Natalie's doing the like big eyebrow wiggle thing, like, mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's still like cutting 10 minutes off my PR is a lot, but we're definitely getting close. That's for sure.
You get yourself like a March half. It's a standalone.
Hmm.
It's coming off your marathon block, coming off your princess block, and you just go for it. That's all I'm saying. Is this also me trying to hype myself up because I need to do the same thing this year because my POT is going bye-bye
We need to
after
find
next year?
somewhere that's still going to be cold in March, aka somewhere in the Midwest, because it won't be cold in March in Georgia.
Yeah, that's fair. See, the risk here is the wind.
It's true.
Because the race I did 2 years ago for POT this past year, I think it was like 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts during it. I was out of town anyway, so it didn't matter. I mean, I couldn't have participated, but in terms of, I guess, something as we're going into our racing seasons, we're a little over 2 weeks away from our first run Disney race weekend of the year, and then Wine and Dine's coming too. I guess like something like weather mishaps, because it's kind of like your wedding day. You can't predict the weather and you just got to live with it, right? I had a philosophy of personally, I'm not gonna look because I can't change it. So I guess what's something you've learned from this from, like, or that you would apply to when you're, like, you have a weather mishap, like, that's probably the best way I have to describe it.
I think I had kind of avoided running in the rain up until now because, like, who wants, I mean, I've run in the rain a few times, like, when it's light because
Mhm,
that feels nice. And if I ever got to the point where I felt like my shoes were soaked, I just called my run because I didn't want to risk getting a blister.
mhm.
And I think to some extent that could have been to my detriment. Like maybe there would have been things I would have known better about, you know, I never felt like I was chafing while I was out there. And then I got home and I have this spot on the outside of my right thigh, believe it or not inner thigh. I do have that too, but on the outside of my thigh that it doesn't even look like chafe. It looks like I got burned, like full on, like it's very bad. I couldn't even put like a hydrocolloid patch on it. I put that like stuff they put on a tattoo after you get a tattoo because any kind of like ointment, anything just burns.
Ooh,
And I think if I had, I think I would have had like known to like reapply, not just when I feel it. Because in the past, I would know like, oh, I feel a little irritation when it's like starting before it
mhm.
turns into it, but I didn't feel anything. And I don't know what's up with that, but I still don't even know how that happened, honestly. But I think that's something to work on. And I don't know if I would bring another pair of socks or something, then I would have had to stop. I know people talk about that, but I don't think I would have done that. I would have if I had checked the weather a little more closely, I would have worn a visor,
Mm,
which I didn't do. I usually wear something, but because I had the alien ears on, I didn't want another like
thing.
thing around my head plus all my shocks and all that. And I think if I had realized that there was such a high chance or that I don't know, there are some things I would have done differently.
That's so funny. A couple things. So, in terms of having a weird outer thigh chafe, mine's not as bad as yours, but from my 16, where I was literally, it was like I jumped in a pool how wet I was from and sticky. Um, but I literally have one on my outer thigh. Like I have like a big like
I have a
it's from a
question.
seam rubbing. Yes.
Oh, it is? It's from a seam? Okay.
Yeah,
My shorts, well, so I have a pocket there on those
mine's perfect.
shorts. And so I don't know if it's the seam from the pocket. I need to turn the shorts inside out or if it's because I put my phone in that pocket and because they were extra wet, there was more movement than there normally is. Because I've worn those shorts to run and had no problems. Like they don't move, but maybe with all the extra water.
Mhm.
Ugh, yikes.
Yucky. But yeah, so it was funny because when I like woke up on Sunday morning, it was like scrolling through like your messages from your half, and then I kind of like look at my own thigh. I look at my own thigh. I'm like, oh my god, I have one too. Like, not as bad because mine is like just it's fine. And it's just a relatively normal chafe. But also the whole socks thing, I during the 2024 marathon when we had the unexpected dumpage of water, of rain, um I was so mad at myself because I was like, wow, like I even thought for a second of having an extra pair of socks and what could have gone if I had switched them out. And I was saying this to Jeff Galloway the next weekend at my close personal friend at Disneyland at the expo, and I was like, and as I'm saying it, I'm like, wait a minute, I wouldn't have taken my shoes off during a marathon. He's like, yeah, I don't think you would have. I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad we got there.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know. Like, do people wear like waterproof socks or something? Or like, because I don't know, we're gonna have to pull someone in who's done like an ultra because I feel like that's the territory where people maybe consider extra socks and shoes and
Yeah.
things. Because if you get dumped on and you're thinking of switching out your socks, unless you also have a different pair of shoes, those socks are just about to be soaked as soon as you stick your feet back in them.
Yeah. I mean, considering how it's been when I've been, like, absolutely again, like, I'm talking soakage, not like a little damp, I'm talking soakage, like, stepped in a puddle levels. I think I still think I probably would have been fine. I would have been probably better off had I not, because I like 'em thick. I like my socks thick, like, extra C's. So I think probably the weight of it also probably would have been a little bit better had I like switched. But also, if I took my shoes off during a marathon, they weren't like I
They're not going back on.
even when in the long run when I stop at my house or when I lived in the apartment to pee and like I take my shoes off and like it's really hard to put them back on. So that's why I almost prefer like stopping like at my office or whatever because like I'm not taking my shoes off to go to the bathroom there. But like when I go into my house, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take my shoes off before I go to the bathroom. Because it's so hard to just go like, oh, do I really have to put that back on? Like, yes, you do because you can't change your shoes during a race, but at least not like at the distances I am currently running. But I'd say that things I've learned from like wet damping experiences, like dampened experiences, is like you can't KT tape everything because otherwise
Mm,
you're going to give yourself a bikini wax,
yeah.
and that's not going to be a good time. I think I would rather just deal with the chafing than like have to rip off like yeah. Oh god. But just think I KT taped my bra line all the time. for like longer distances, longer runs, and it is a godsend. With all the layers I had during that 2024 marathon of the dub binge, uh, not no chafing whatsoever.
Mhm.
So at least I don't even think I had any anywhere, to be honest with you, which that's
Yeah.
surprising now that I think about it. But I not like not in the places I'd expected because it adds that extra layer of friction.
Yeah. I KT
Um,
taped through Dopey and I that was good. I didn't get any. I had been starting to get some bra line chafe towards the end in my longer runs. And yeah, I went ahead and taped up and it was perfect. Also, the inner people can't see this, so I'm going to verbally describe the inside of my like bicep, tricep, the part where your shirt
mhm.
ends and it rubs on your side when you're running.
Yep.
So, depending on the length of my sleeve, I have to have some sleeve for the vest period. But also there's a part of my vest that pokes out and sometimes rubs. So I put a piece of KT tape on the inside of my arm so that my arm doesn't touch that part of my vest and then I don't have to worry about it anymore and I don't have to worry about like reapplying chafing stuff or anything. Just like stick a piece of tape on there and we're all good.
Ooh, that's inspired. I've thought about doing that because you and I obviously we have the same vest. If
Yes.
you, we have literally not just like it's the same vest. So
Mhm.
like the little teeny pokey parts where I have given up on the idea that I'm going to successfully tuck them and keep them tucked to where they need to be for over 10 miles. So the KT tape is inspired though.
The only way
Ooh,
to not have them stick out,
it's cutting them.
the only way to have them not stick out is to have your vest like it can't be too overstuffed, which obviously is hard to do because that's the
Yeah.
whole point is I want to stuff as much in there as possible. But also the tighter you can get it to shift the pockets as far forward, like towards
Mhm.
the center of your chest and not out. So like on top of your boobs. Like I have to really pull it tight. That helps. That brings the like winged bits forward so they're less in contact with your arm.
Yeah, we struggle in the boob department over here of them just kind of they're getting a little like we're getting a little bit more so the pockets are sitting on top of the boob, but like we're
Have you loosened the so inside the pockets of our vest, there's also a bit of elastic that you can
yeah.
adjust to like tighten the sides a bit. You can I don't know if they're default the loosest they go or not, but like you could try moving those to see if that would help.
Yeah, I've tried. There is still more tinkering to do. I just am busty. So, it's going to be what it's going to be in terms of that. Um but I guess This being this was a little bit more of a fun even though it ended up being like a killer race for you, it was a little bit more of a fun run. So can you talk a little bit to, I don't know, maybe just how the weather might have impacted kind of like going into it meant like cuz it almost feels like it's like ah like almost getting yourself disappointed about it because like there's an adverse weather
Mhm.
anticipation versus
Believe it or not, I had way more fun once it rained.
hmm,
I don't know that I would always say that to be true, but because we basically had two extremes during this race. We had brutal heat and then we had monsoon rain. And there was like no in between. We did have a brief like 10 minutes maybe, maybe not even that long between how right before a storm like it hasn't started raining, but as the storm rolls in, the temperature drops, the wind
yeah,
picks up, and you just know. So there was
she
like,
coming.
yeah, so there was these couple of minutes of like anticipation. I literally kept saying to Ben, "Oh shoot. Oh shoot.
Yeah.
Oh shoot. It's coming." And we could hear the thunder before it started raining. So there was a few minutes where like the wind picked up and I just felt really good. I was scared because I was like, "Oh, it's going to start raining. There's no way we're making it back before we're going to get dumped on." But we had a little bit of protection from the trees for a little bit, but not really because it was coming down that hard. But it was so much better. And it was kind of funny because there was like this when everyone's hot and miserable, everyone goes quiet.
Mhm.
in a race because everyone's just maybe not in the pain cave, but kinda,
You're
and,
fighting for
like,
your life out there.
we're all
You
fighting
don't
for
want to
our
talk.
lives. No one's talking, no one's putting in any extra effort that they don't have to. They're conserving.
Mhm.
And as soon as it started downpouring, it was like everyone came back alive. People were joking with each other. We were, like, saying stuff, like, it wasn't we went under that underpass that I said, like, it was
Mhm.
downpouring. It's basically a waterfall coming off of that as well. And then, like, a little bit further down the trail, a tree had come down. Like,
Oh, shoot.
we had to, like, climb over a tree to keep going. It was intense, but we were all having fun and joking about it, and I think that that's where the fun comes in. Like, you have to look on the bright side, literally,
Yeah.
because it got very dark very quickly. But yeah, you always have to find the positive, find something to talk to someone about. Don't let what might not be ideal ruin it, ruin the fun. Even though the heat definitely was ruining the fun for the first like 3 to 4 miles.
Fair point. Fair
Mhm.
point. I think
I
that's good advice though. It's like you can't control the weather, so you just
Mhm.
make the best of it.
Yeah. During the first 3 miles when it was so hot, I was just trying to remind myself, like, one foot in front of the other, that's all that matters, and then I was telling myself, like, that it was okay to slow down because it was hot, and I was, like, using so a lot of times they say, like, you need to have a conversation if if you can't hold a conversation, you're running too fast,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. Well, when you're running and you're not elite, which I am not, the elites are often running back towards you in the opposite direction.
Fair.
And you're not very far into the race. And so the elites for the half were already headed back towards us when we were headed out. Like, we're only a few miles in and they're already more than double done.
Oh, great.
And but they're coming down the road and I was like cheering for them. I
Mhm.
was telling myself if I can't cheer like well, first of all, I think everyone deserves a cheer no matter like what your skill level is, no matter where you are in the race, in the
Mhm.
pack, whatever. So I like to cheer for the people that are faster than me and the people that are slower than me, no matter what. I told myself if I can't cheer for them, then I'm running too fast.
Fair.
So that was like something that I was trying to do to like keep the attitude up. Mile 3 and mile 4 were just in the woods. There was no running past. So then it was just hot and I was in my head, and that was less fun.
Happens.
Yeah.
So on a scale of 1 to 10 spaceships, would you do this again?
10 spaceships.
Excellent.
Yes, absolutely. We had so much fun. I will hopefully be more prepared in the future. I also think it would be really fun to run one of the shorter races because then I would have a lot more time at the after party to
Mhm.
enjoy the musicians that they have and the food and just like the camaraderie. There's tons of people that come to spectate for this race. There were people all along the roads cheering, people made signs, like it felt like a big race. It is for a local race. I think there was over 3,000 people running across the different
Wow.
5K, 10K half. I mean, there was a lot of people there. Um, but then like all those people brought people with them. They brought their friends and their family and it was genuinely a party in the park. And I think if I tried the 5 or the 10 in the future, I might have a not necessarily more fun like race wise, but I think post race I would just have more time to enjoy the other
Mm.
fun stuff.
Right on.
Maybe I'll wear an inflatable alien suit in the future. I'm also pretty sure Meg wants to run the race. She's added it to her bucket list, so you might see me back there next year.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
But yeah, and you can come visit, and you can run too.
That is very true.
I have a spare bedroom.
My name on it. Me and Pep against the world. If you enjoyed listening to our show, please leave us a review and a 5-star rating. We love reading your reviews out loud, and you might even be featured on a future podcast episode. We have a community spotlight on our Instagram at Stride Sisters Podcast. If you want to be featured for a Metal Monday, Finish Line Friday, or any accomplishment you want to celebrate, send us a picture via our social media platforms or our email. And to continue the fun, join us on our Facebook page. All the ways to connect with us can be found in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Until our next adventure, we're wishing you endless smiles of magic and memories. See you next time.